Alright, today we're going to look at doing light maps for UDK. And this process of light maps is probably only going to be relevant for about another 6 months to a year until Unreal Engine 4 comes out. And then we're not going to have to worry about doing this anymore. Or so they say. We'll see. So the first thing we need to do is we need to make a light map channel. Right now we're just looking at a little diffuse channel. So what we need to do is create another UV set. So I'm going to copy my current UV set into the new one. And it's called Lightmap. So I just hit apply. And so now I got a UV set here. It's a light map. So what I need to do now is I need to determine how this needs to be set up. And the one thing you got to make sure is that your grid settings are set properly. So I'm going to set this light map up to run off a 64 by 64 light map. So I'm going to bring up my calculator here and I'm going to divide 1 by 64. And it's going to give me this decimal point. If we wanted, let's say, a 512 by 512 light map, it would be 1 divided by 512. But that's a pretty big light map, so in this case we're just going to use a 64 by 64, so we're dividing 1 by 64 and we get this decimal point here. So we're going to copy that here and then just place that into grid lines and hit apply. Now we'll all see our light map change. And so now what I'm looking at here, so we zoom in here, each grid unit, so each square here is a pixel, and UDK needs between 2 and 4 pixels for adequate light maps. So what I'm going to do here is look at these pieces here. We do not want these connected together, so anywhere there is a 90-degree angle, you want to make sure those are cut apart and on their own separate UV islands. And the reason for that is that light maps just they work best when they're cut apart. So like this front face here, this one's totally fine because this is just one front piece and all these are flat and flush with each other, so they're fine. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to move it up here just so it's kind of in its own area, and I can probably upscale quite a bit of this stuff actually. So before I get started here, I'm just going to scale stuff up a little bit. So I'm using some more space, and judging by that, it's probably too much. So we'll try this for now. So it looks like everything else here is already on their own UV islands. So we're good to start the light mapping process. And what that consists of is snapping each grid or each vert to a grid. And it has to be on the grid line. If it's in between like this, you're going to get bleed over. Even if you have adequate pixel space in between our two objects or our two UV shells here, you're still going to get light map anomalies. And that will be because you're in between a pixel. So what we want to do is just keep everything snapped perfectly by pixel. So you want pixel precision. Alright, so I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to keep snapping these to where they need to be. Alright, so that's good there. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to easily be able to fit one of these right here. I might be able to even fit another one right up here. We'll see. Nope, not enough pixel room. So we're looking at 1 pixel by 1 pixel there. and that's just not enough. Well, actually what I could do is I could do this. Could snap this down to here. And then snap this to here. That way. We're looking at a 2 pixel difference here. So I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to give it 3 pixels here. And I'm going to bring it all the way up top. And I should be able to fit another one right next to it. And if you notice, I'm kind of squishing the geometry a little bit. That's not going to be too much of an issue. So I want to run a 3 pixel difference here. Alright, this will work. Alright, I'm going to bring these up here. Drop them right about here. And I'm just going to have to space these out a little bit. Alright, I'm going to grab this bottom one. Just move it out of the way. Alright, I'm getting 2 pixel difference here, so that's all we need. So we should be with adequate padding here on both sides. I'm just going to bring this one down to this bottom corner here. Alright, so we got the same here. Alright, and this one can just pretty much go anywhere since it's our last piece. And so with this setup here, all of our light maps will have adequate pixel bleed. So we're not going to get really any weird shadows or anomalies. The thing you got to keep in mind is light maps are not perfect. So there still may be slight seams in modular pieces, but for the most part, if your diffuse is detailed and looks nice, proper normals and all that, most of your seams will be hidden. But in the event that they're not, just keep in mind that light maps aren't always perfect. And I mean, if the 64 by 64 light map didn't work out, we could always try increasing it to a 128. But really the big power in light maps is making sure everything is set up correctly, that you have adequate pixels, at least 2 pixels in between UV shells, and you should be alright. And so that just concludes our light map tutorial.